Alright, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, me and my wife Gabriella, we're going to be talking about a topic from Threads. The Threads app, the Instagram app that is basically like Twitter. And maybe this will be a mini series. Let us know in the comments if you want to see more videos like this where we react to certain topics and talk about it. So the topic that we have for this video is the new Magic Mouse that Apple has released. So basically, the last Magic Mouse that Apple put out was about 9 years ago. And this was where the charging port was. So normally, when you think about a mouse, a wireless mouse, the charging port, the way to charge it is on the front. And it just makes sense in the sense of like, you know, if you're using the mouse, the battery is low, you just plug it in, continue using the mouse if you need to. Or for most of the wireless mouses, mice, I don't know what the plural is for that. But for most of the wireless mouses out there, you just connect the cord and you can connect it to your computer and use it wired so it doesn't actually use the battery. So I can turn this off and use it wired. I think that's a pretty cool functionality. And also, it's overrated, but the Magic Trackpad, that is the trackpad that Apple puts out for their computers, their Macs and stuff like that. You can actually use that trackpad wired as well. So, thank you. This trackpad, Magic Trackpad, I actually really enjoy this thing. This is probably one of the best one of my most enjoyed products from Apple. But you can connect this wire directly to your Mac and even other computers, like my Samsung device, for example, my Samsung, and it will use it as a mouse trackpad wired. It doesn't use the battery. It's not wireless at that point. I can even turn it off and still use it wired. So that's just a little bit of backstory of like what the topic's about. So basically, Apple, after 9 years, they put out an updated version of this mouse just to change the port, because originally it charged with Lightning cable, which is the iPhone charging cable before the USB-C from the iPhone 15 and up. And yeah, so they changed the mouse to USB-C, but they still left the port on the bottom of the mouse. So as you can see, this is literally the bottom of the mouse. And as you guys know, you use a mouse like this. So of course, people are outraged, and this is like a hot topic, or was a hot topic on Threads and social media and stuff like that. So we're gonna talk about it. So to start, I guess I did a long introduction. To start, what are your thoughts on this design choice, especially after 9 years?
Why? Why would they do that? Like literally, why would they do that? It doesn't make sense. And people, like so many people, were fighting Jamal on Threads, saying it just makes sense, bro. Like, how? What? How does that make sense? I don't understand. Like, okay, so the most common thing said was probably, it's intentional. You're meant to not use it while it's charging. Why? Apple said that? When did they say that? Why did they say that? Why? Because the trackpad, you could use that while it's charging. Like Jamal said, you could turn the trackpad off and plug it in wired, and now it's a wired trackpad. And you can use it that way so that the battery is not being charged often, overheating, anything. You can turn it off. Why can't you turn off the mouse and use it? Why? That mouse is expensive. Why couldn't they put that technology in? There's enough space. Why can't you use it and charge it? That doesn't make sense.
Somebody said that because the Magic Keyboard also works like that too. You can use it wired instead of using it on battery. But somebody said both of those devices, the Magic Keyboard and Magic Trackpad, they don't move. So it makes sense why those ones can be wired. But the Magic Mouse, it makes sense to not want it to be wired. That's what someone said. And a lot of people have also been saying on Threads, like respond to me, saying like they think that like you said, Apple is intentionally designing it to prevent people from using it as a wireless mouse or wired mouse, because they want it to be wireless. They feel like the wire defeats the purpose of it being wireless.
Why do they need to choose for me? Why can't I just have a wireless mouse that I use wired if I choose to do so? Why? And then a lot of people too were like, oh, it only needs to charge like once every 3 to 4 weeks. The next person was like, oh, it only needs to charge twice a year. What is it? Is it once a month or twice a year? Because that's a very big difference. What does it matter how often it needs to charge if I want to have it plugged in all the time? Why can't I? What is the reason? What is it going to do if I use it and charge it at the same time? We'll never find out because we can't, because it plugs in from the bottom. Does that make sense? Like, how is that justifiable? How can you justify that? It doesn't make sense.
And so, like, people are saying, it's kind of right, but people are saying that, like, because of how the design is, so it's very sleek and slim, they're saying that if you put the USB-C port anywhere on this body, it destroys the design, essentially. They're saying, like, it would ruin the oneness of this design and whatever completeness. So what do you think about that opinion?
What's there to say? Like, that is so stupid. What? It's a mouse. Like, you're using it, it's in your hand 24/7. You're not going to see the design. Can you even tell what mouse is in my hand? Like, come on. It's in your hand. You're doing your little 1-2 work. Like, what does it matter what it looks like ultimately? I guess, like, if you really want it to look nice on your desk, who are you trying to impress? Who is looking at your desk set up 24/7 for you to be like, yeah, I need the sleekest mouse. It needs to look perfect. You're not looking at your mouse. Come on.
But even if you are looking at your mouse, come on, bro. Like, you're telling me Apple can't engineer a port to be discreetly, in the front of the mouse or something like that. It could even be like a flap that opens up. You plug it in when you need to. Then when you plug it out, the flap closes, and then the design is still, like, clean. Like, you're telling me Apple can't engineer that, bro? Like, we're talking about Apple, like, what multi-billion-dollar company, one of the biggest tech companies in the world. They have some of the most innovative products out there. M-series chips. You're telling me they can't just, like, put this on that mouse and still make it look clean? Like, I don't understand that. Like, even if the port was there, it's probably going to be forward like this. So, like, look at this mouse. You can't see the port at all. When it's, like, on the table and you're using it, this is how it looks. You can't see the port. So if the port was on the front of the Magic Mouse, it wouldn't really, like, get in the way of how it looks on your desk. So, yeah, I don't really understand that perspective personally. But, like, I guess, the average user, they don't want to think about things. I'm not calling you guys brain dead, but, it seems like mans don't want to think about things, so.
He's not saying that they don't want to think about things for no reason. Like, he's referring to the stuff that people said on threads, like, actually outrageous. Some of the stuff they said, the way they try to justify it, or, like, they're fighting him for, like, things that he already said. Like, he said he understands that it's just a mild inconvenience, and people are like, oh, you're being inconvenienced. Like, he understands it's not that big of an issue, but, like, it also just bad design. That was his point. It's just bad design.
Yeah, my point was bad design.
His point wasn't, oh, this is life-ruining, this doesn't make sense, this is outrageous that you can't charge it and use it. That wasn't his point. It was just, it's bad design to charge a mouse from the bottom when you use a mouse the other way.
Yeah. It's like, actually, I'll get into that after, but look at this. I don't want to, like, at these people. I'm not even going to show you. But basically, there's two people, not even two people, there's multiple people on that thread who were responding to me. And firstly, some people were saying I was angry when I was not. Like, literally, this is just a random post on whatever day it was. I just posted it because it's just funny that Apple designed this thing after 9 years and it's still the same. And it's such a weird design choice. So I was like, I posted that saying, like, it's funny and it doesn't make sense to me. And I don't understand how people defend it. But a lot of people are saying, oh, you're angry. And then some people are saying, basically what I'm saying is, like, people are saying I'm angry, but then they're fighting me. Like, how does that make sense, And then there's people saying, oh, this is the 1000th post of this. Like, we've already seen this so many times. Like, why are you guys so obsessed with Apple? This and that. Like, people are complaining, saying I'm angry, saying that people are posting this over and over and over again, that it's a waste of time, this and that. If you truly feel like that, why do you keep responding to? Why are you on my posts?
Yeah, it's so funny to me when people on social media are like, oh my gosh, like, I hate this, people need to stop talking about this and that. You're engaging with it. That's why you keep getting that posts like that recommended. If you saw this 10 times from 10 different people, don't engage with it.
Yeah, like,
stop engaging with it and you'll stop seeing it.
Like, I don't understand. You find it annoying, and it's that you've seen 1,000 other posts, and mine is 1,001 posts about it, and yet you're choosing to comment that on my posts. Like, you took time out of your day to respond to my post and type I've already seen this post so many times. Period. Okay, you just commented on the 1001 post of this topic.
Now you're gonna see it 1,002 times.
Yeah, and then so where I was going with that was like people were saying I'm angry, but then there's mans on that thread who they're literally like they're speaking rudely to me. First of all, I wasn't speaking rudely to anyone. I wasn't like calling anyone stupid, stuff like that. But these guys are like obsessed with your stupidity. I don't think you're mad. I think you're not very bright. Like people are saying, and it's funny because some of these people are like Android fanboys. I don't understand why they're so obsessed with Apple. They think this and that about Apple fans and Apple devices and stuff like that. Like they're basically trying to say like Android people are always attacking Apple, but it's like all I did was have I made a post about my opinion and thoughts on this design choice that Apple made, and you're out here calling me stupid. Who's really attacking who? Who's really getting upset? Who's really taking this further than it should be? Like literally, like my wife said, it's just a conversation for me. It's just a conversation about design choice, where the port was placed by Apple. I don't care about your experience. I don't care about how it actually inconvenienced your life. It's just a conversation, a thought about where the port was put. And if you're tired of talking about that, keep it rolling. That's fine. If you disagree, that's fine. But like when we're talking and going back and forth about this topic, why are you getting so angry that you feel the need to call me stupid? Like I feel the need to say I'm not very bright, to insult me. Like I don't know, bro. Like people are really defending Apple as if like somebody's attacking them personally. Like Apple is a part of their identity type of thing. Like it's just kind of strange. But yeah, so going back to the mouse. So in Canada, the mouse is actually $95. What are your thoughts on the price? I don't know if you know, but it features, it's kind of like a mini trackpad built into a mouse, so you can like scroll left and right. But like, anyways, what do you think about this mouse being $95?
So in Canada, it's gonna be over $100 to not choose how I use my mouse. Why can't I choose to use it plugged in when I'm paying over $100 for this? Like, make it make sense. I don't understand how that could make sense. I'm losing all my words. I really cannot explain. I really cannot express how much that does not make sense to me. Because like, if they want to argue that like it's gonna degrade the battery or something, just have a switch to turn it off. Just like the other mouse Jamal has, just like the Magic Trackpad that Apple makes, just have a switch to turn it off. If that's too much, if it's too much to put in a switch to turn it off, and it's gonna degrade the battery, let me degrade the battery. I spent over $100 on it. That's my business. It's not your business, Apple. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. A lot of people were saying like I don't know. People were saying it defeats the purpose to plug it in and stuff like that, and that it charges fast. It doesn't die fast. Like the battery lasts a long time or whatever. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, just go drink a coffee while you wait for it to charge for like 2 minutes. People were even like calling me my name, like it's a skill issue, Jamal. Like you can sit down and wait 2 minutes, Jamal. Like people were like saying my name like that. But it's like, okay, all that stuff is true. You can let it charge for 2 minutes. It might last a long time. But in some situations, you might need to plug in the mouse. Like, for example, I don't know if any of these people on Threads have ever set up a PC, set up a computer that is like just not, like you're in BIOS and stuff like that. Like when you restart a computer and go into BIOS, you can't use a wireless device. You can't use a wireless mouse on that. You can't use a wireless keyboard. You need to have a wired connection in order to put inputs into a computer that is in its BIOS when it's not actually on.
Can you do that on a Mac?
Yeah, you can go into BIOS on Mac as well, and like.
And you can't use wireless stuff?
I'm not sure about nowadays, but definitely in the past with Macs, I know that I had to plug it in before. Mm-hmm. It didn't have you can use wireless.
Yeah.
Like for example, like with what's it called? The thing where you can, what is it called again? Where you can add windows, like you can partition windows.
Boot Camp or something like that?
I remember in the past when using Boot Camp, you couldn't use wireless like mouses and keyboards and stuff like that. You need to plug in something. So I don't know if these people have ever experienced that, but there's definitely a time and a place for when you need to plug in your device and use it wirely or with a wire. So I don't know, bro. Like, this is something that I don't understand. But like a lot of Apple fans, they basically make it seem like adding a feature or giving people options will hurt or hinder the device, or hinder how they want to use the device, or what Apple's intention was for the device. But to me, it's like, how does it hurt to give people more options?
Yeah. And also, what does it matter what Apple's intention was? I bought it with my money. I want to use it how I want to use it. That's the end of the story. And I had to ask if the wired mice circumstance would be like impact Mac, because you know they're gonna say, oh, why would you use the Apple mouse on the PC when you're trying to boot it up?
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing that I think a lot of Apple users don't get to, is like not everybody just uses one brand. You know, me personally, I use Apple devices, I use Samsung devices, I use OnePlus devices, I use technology and tech products from all companies, whatever works for my workflow. I'm not limited to one brand. I'm not loyal. I don't care about Samsung. I don't care about, like Xiaomi. I don't care about Apple. I don't care about any of these brands. I use whatever I like or whatever works for me. So like most people, when it comes to like things like a mouse and headphones and stuff, like they're not using one brand. They're using like Logitech or something like that, and Logitech works with all brands. It works with Macs. This is actually a branded for Mac, but it works with Windows, works with my Android devices, works with the iPhone, iPad, whatever. You can use this on even Linux, Raspberry Pi. You can use this mouse for everything. So I feel like a lot of Apple users, they don't have that realization of like, people don't only just use one brand of products. They use multiple different brands of products. So why wouldn't I want a device that I buy to be compatible with everything else that I own? Like, how does that not make sense? In my brain, I feel like that just makes sense. If I buy a keyboard from a company, why wouldn't I want to be able to use it with my other devices, regardless of how old or regardless of what kind of device that is? I feel like that just makes sense. Mm-hmm. And as of right now, I can use the Magic Trackpad on any device. Like, let's say I for whatever reason, because computers back in the day, they didn't ship with like Bluetooth and stuff like that, right? They didn't have the receiver by default. You have to buy that separately. Let's say I have an old computer, I want to use that, and it doesn't have Bluetooth capabilities, but my only keyboard is the Magic Keyboard, or my only mouse is the Magic Trackpad. I can use those devices because I can plug them in directly to that old computer because it has USB on it. But if I have the Magic Mouse, I can't use that mouse on an old computer that does not have Bluetooth. And I know someone's going to say, oh, this is such a rare situation, scenario, blah, blah, blah. And that's my point. Like, when I'm talking about options, I'm talking about those one-off situations where you might need something. I'd rather have the option to use something wired than to not be able to use it at all. Like, now I got to run to the store and get a mouse, Like, I'd rather have that option than not have it.
And I feel like it's such an ignorant opinion to think like, oh, why would someone need that? It doesn't matter why. If someone would need it, someone would need it. Like, lots of people have old computers. Where you can't plug in. Where you have to plug it in, like Jamal is saying. So like, to say that, oh, that's a one-off circumstance, no one would need that, like, why would you even do that? People would do it.
Yeah. You'd be surprised, man. Like, where we live, there's people who use only wired things. There's people who literally don't have wireless headphones. They don't have wireless mouse. They don't have a wireless keyboard. They don't have a wireless, like, whatever you can think of that people normally have that's wireless nowadays. There's people out here who only have wired things. Like, they didn't upgrade to newer phones or like specific kinds of phones because they can't use their wired earphones. There's people out there like that. Or like they didn't upgrade because they can't, so they're using an older phone that has the headphone jacks, and so they're using that. They like I said, wired keyboard and stuff. So like, not everybody is up with the times and like the wireless stuff, anyways.
Yeah, and then you might be like, oh well, if they're using an old computer, if they can only use wired things, why would they want to buy a $100 mouse? Why wouldn't they want to buy a $100 mouse? What if they got it as a gift? What if they bought, I don't know, a MacBook and they're using it with their MacBook, but they also want to use it with their computer at home because their other mouse died. Now they have to go and buy a second mouse when they already spent $100 on a mouse to begin with.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, moving further. So my post on Threads actually got like 200 comments in total. I think I was probably like, I wouldn't say half of them, but maybe I was half of them. Either way, over 100 comments from random people. Most of them were pissed off.
Yeah. And I can't read through all of them because I would just be so annoyed. Like, I hate people fighting Jamal when I agree with his opinion. It feels like they're fighting me. So I can't read through all of this without getting too annoyed at like their dumb comments. But this is a few of my favorites from the top. So another dumb post from someone who doesn't even use Apple products. How did Apple make everyone so insecure? What? He said in the threads that he never used this mouse, but he just thinks the design is bad. He never said he never used Apple products. And who is insecure? What? The original thread, I don't know if we read it, but it says garbage design is garbage design. And obviously, like, Jamal's being a little inflammatory. Like, he's being a little extra with this. But at the end of the day, it's facts. Garbage design is garbage design, regardless of how easy it is to use. Apple could have easily put the port in a location that makes charging more seamless and allows you to use the mouse via USB while charging. They had 9 years to fix this. All they did was add USB-C. I don't know how mans defend this stuff. It's just bad design, bro. Even if it's a minor inconvenience to you. I don't know why it sounds like I can't read. But that's what he said. And people are saying that it's dumb, he's stupid. How did Apple make everyone so insecure? I don't know, man. The next one I'm reading, it says, you don't even have used the mouse, and you're saying everywhere it's garbage and a bad design. Are you even a designer or something alike? Do you know what wireless means? Oh, sorry, they said, do you know what means wireless? You have to charge it twice a year, and it warns you way before it runs out of battery. It's not meant to be used while charging, and that's all. Those are not poor design choices. Just people like you talking S-word about something they don't even know. Why do you have to be a designer to look at something and say that doesn't make sense for the general public? Don't you just have to be a user of products and say, yeah, that wouldn't work for me, so I'm not going to waste my $100 on it? Come on. It's so strange. Like, even if you only have to charge it twice a year, what if I want a wired connection? Like Jamal was saying, there's circumstances where a wired connection makes sense. And also, like, I mean, I don't know the latency, but wired is just always faster than a wireless connection. So, like, if I'm playing, like, a really intensive game on the Mac, I probably want a wired connection because every single millisecond counts for, like, a first-person shooter or different things like that. So, like, why would you not want the option to plug it in?
Yeah, ask any gamer, bro. Wired connection is always going to be better for latency.
Like, come on. Even, like, people who are doing different things, like, maybe you're not going to use the mouse to draw for, like, professional stuff, but, like, if you're just messing around, like, you want things to be super accurate, super quick, super fast, like, why would you not want the option of a wired connection in any circumstance? I don't understand.
Yeah, some of my favorite ones are, this one is funny, satire, but a person said, nah, just use it flipped. I thought that was kind of funny because the port is at the bottom, so, you know, if you want to use it, just use it upside down. And then another one, this person said, it charges in 3 minutes, fam. I said, it's still a bad design choice regardless. They said, nah, just go get a snack while it charges, LOL. You have never owned a Mac if this bothers you. Like, just those combinations of things. And I responded and I said, what does this have to do with owning a Mac? I've owned several and this design choice is still bad. And then the person responded and said, don't buy it then. But it's like, those chain of comments is just like, it just feels so, like, illogical. Like, I really just don't understand. Because the post is not about how inconvenient it is in your personal daily life. Like, it's not about how fast it charges, not about how slow it charges, not about how long the battery lasts, whatever. It's about the design choice. The design choice is bad regardless of how it actually affects you. Like, for example, let's say you have a game controller, right? Like an Xbox controller or something like that, or a Switch controller. Usually on those controllers, the charging port is going to be at the back of the controller, like the mouse. It's going to be at the front. And then you hold the controller like this, the charging port is like right around here. That's normally how it is. Let's say somebody decided to put the charging port right in the middle of the controller, or even like in the middle of the bottom. In those two locations, sure, you can play it while it's connected like that. Like, it's not going to get in your way necessarily, but those two locations are inconvenient. One, because it's not seamless, like in terms of like the distance. So like the game console's over there, and then the controller's over here, if you're using a wired, the cord is going to be, it's not going to be like one straight path to wherever it needs to go. It's going to be up and bending. And you know, cables can be like kind of messy and annoying to get them to be in one place, right? So that's going to be inconvenient in that sense. And also, for me, when I'm playing games, I accidentally, hit things often, like depending on the controller shape, because I use different controllers and stuff. I accidentally press like the pause button on certain controllers, or I accidentally press a button randomly, or flick the stick by accident. Imagine this cable. For somebody like me, the way I play games and stuff like that, it's gonna get in my way like very often if it was in the middle of the controller. And then at the bottom, the way I hold my controller, that's definitely gonna bother me for sure. Because even controllers are designed to be ergonomic in a sense where like you're holding it in a comfortable position, whatever. So that design choice would just be annoying. But surely, even though that design choice is inconvenient and a bad design choice, if the part was like up here or at the bottom on the controller, you could definitely use it and be fine. Like, as human beings, we kind of adapt to things, adapt to our environment, adapt to things we use. And like, if you like, honestly, like we're born in 1997, we grew up in like, basically we've experienced like all levels of technology, like from like old stuff like dial-up internet to what we have now. We've experienced all of it. And like when I was a kid, when we got our first computer and stuff like that, there was it wasn't convenient at all back in the days. Computers were not convenient. Internet was not convenient. So like we had to find workarounds naturally, and figure out how to make things work better than they did. Like a lot of the time when we used technology back in the days. So like we're pretty used to working around things as people, as human beings. That doesn't mean that it was good. Windows 97, Windows 7, Windows XP, Windows Vista, just because it's nostalgic, or just because like I was able to use those platforms, those things, doesn't mean that they were good in terms of design and like user experience, or like just design in general. So like going back to the charging port thing, if the charging port was here on the controller, just because I was able to play 1,000 hours of a game and not have any issue, even rank high in a game or something like that, doesn't mean the design choice is good, is my point. I kind of went on a tangent based on this one thread, but yeah, it's just like, I don't get it, bro. Like, bad design is bad design.
Yeah, just the fact that you have to flip the mouse over to plug it in, that's just bad design. Like, it doesn't look good charging. If you want to talk about looks, like, this person said, "It's not garbage. What a nonsense you wrote. Every other position would destroy this amazing design. It looks stupid charging upside down. Come on. Like it does. I don't care if it only takes 2 minutes to charge or 5 minutes to charge. It looks bad. If it just plugs in the front, you would never see the port. How would that mess with the design? Like, it just doesn't make sense."
Yeah. Then my last comment that I'll bring up from my threads thing, this person said, "Let me fix it for you. The design is bad." And then they're quoting me, I guess. And then they said, "The mouse has 3 to 4 week battery and charges in 2 hours. I'm just dumb enough to let it charge overnight and use it for 3 to 4 weeks without charging it again, so I'll cry about it on threads. Checkmark. Skill issue, Jamal." This person, basically they think they're dunking on me, and they're just showing me why I'm stupid. First of all, you're assuming that I have this mouse and like I've experienced it dying or something like that, and that's why I'm complaining about it, because I let it die and it's inconvenienced me. Not true at all. Second of all, my post went over your head, bro. It's not about this experience. It's not about the battery life. It's about the design. The design is bad. Like, it doesn't matter how you put it. You're working around a poor design. Like, you think about it. Like, you're saying, just let it charge while you're doing something. Just manage the battery. And it might not be a lot of time that you have to micromanage or think about, but you're thinking about working around it. Any other mouse, bro, I'm using the mouse, it's red, plug it in, and then continue using it. It's simple as that. The Magic Mouse, even if it's just 2 minutes, I still have to plug it in for 2 minutes and can't use it. Like how does that not connect in your head?
And the thing is, too, some people were even saying, like, "Oh, just charge it when you're not using it." If you're going to plug it in and walk away, there's a good chance you're going to forget about it, and then it's going to be plugged in until whenever you come back. That will degrade the battery. If that's the issue, like you can't use it plugged in because the battery's going to degrade or whatever, you leaving it plugged in is going to degrade the battery. And the fact that like you have to charge it at a time when you're not using it at all is like gonna make it more likely that you do that. So that just seems dumb.
Yeah, I don't get it, bro. Like this, the sensor's right here, by the way. Sensor's on the bottom, but on the Apple mouse, the charging port is also next to the sensor, so you can't use them at the same time. How can you argue for that? Like, yeah, it doesn't inconvenience your daily life, whatever, it lasts a long time. But how can you argue for that design choice? Like, I don't get it, bro. That's like them putting the charging port for the iPhone on the front, like on the screen side, or like putting it on directly on the back,
In the middle.
of the phone. Like, sure, you can use your phone like that, but is that good design? Nah, it's not. Still, I don't know, man. Like, why can't we just talk and just be respectful? And like, if you can, it's okay to disagree with stuff for sure, but like, let's just respect everyone, bro. But and also, I would say, don't be so close-minded and blinded by your affection for a company that does not care about you. And that might offend people, but it's just real talk. Like, I feel like a lot of people, even like Samsung fanboys, Android fanboys, Google whatever, people are so extreme, and like they care so much about these products. Like I said earlier, they put their identity in it to the point where it's like, if somebody calls out something, it's like they're getting personally attacked. When it's like, no, we're talking about something that a company did, a company who has no connection to you, a company who does not care if you're alive or if you die. All they care about is your wallet. Like, people are putting their identity into these companies and getting offended on their behalf. Like, Google still to this day on their Pixel phones has 2 widgets on the home screen that you can't remove. If somebody calls that out, how can you defend them, bro? Like, I just don't understand. And also, if somebody calls that out and talks about it, why are you getting offended on Google's behalf and trying to explain, oh, it's like this because of this reason? Like, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Like, yeah, so that's the mouse. I know some people are gonna say, oh, another video, or wasting time. Bro, if you listen to this far, I appreciate you. But also, like, if you click on this video and you're mad that this video exists and we're talking about this, what can I say except
You're welcome.
Yeah, we out. Peace.